Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is 9 o'clock here on Monday, June the 2nd. Time for the First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock. This is our streaming alternative. You can get the full weather here 7 nights a week at 9 p.m. Central Time. For our friends in the Eastern Time Zone up there in Pike County and Knox and other areas, Du Bois counties, this gives you a little leg up there to get the weather and get to bed or get on with your life there, whatever you're doing at this hour of the night. We had a nice day out there today with temperatures in the 80s. We're going to up the ante a little bit tomorrow as 90s are possible for the first time this season. We got to 89 back in May, so we came up a little short. But I think we will get into the 90s tomorrow. And then showers and thunderstorms will return for the middle and end of the week. We get into another kind of unsettled or active weather pattern. The good news is there's not a strong signal for severe weather, at least not organized widespread severe storms. That, of course, could change. It's Monday, and you can see in the plains definitely widespread and organized severe weather coming across Kansas and Oklahoma. And our line of storms to the north has weakened a little bit. Now, all of this eventually will find its way into the tri-state, but it is going to take a few days for all of that to move over here. So obviously today we are dry. Tomorrow we will stay dry as well. Looks like on Wednesday some scattered thunderstorms possible. The best chance for anything stronger, with hail or wind would likely be to our north. And I can give you an idea of that on the hour-by-hour forecast. We are clear overnight. Temperatures should drop into the mid-60s, and then we're back up into the upper 80s to around 90 tomorrow. By Wednesday, not quite as warm as we have clouds returning, and then maybe some showers and storms late Wednesday night going into Thursday and continuing throughout the day on Thursday on kind of a scattershot basis. We're not looking at a washout for everyone all at once Thursday, but we may get some pretty good thunderstorms there with heavy rainfall or locally heavy rain on Thursday and Friday. Temperatures around the eastern half of the country have continued to rise, and as our winds shift around to a more southerly direction, we'll start to pull in some moisture from the Gulf, which should get us set up then for those showers and storms a little later in the week. It was really dry today. The humidity was running around 30 to 35%, so that's why it felt so pleasant outside. Current temps still in that pleasant range right now, mid-70s pretty much every place. 82 is the normal high for this day, and we got exactly up to that. And we were 10 degrees cooler than normal, down to 52 this morning, which made it refreshing if you were out early jogging or walking the dog or hanging laundry, whatever you were doing outdoors. We had pretty decent conditions. No rain yet. We did clock in 82 in here for June the 2nd, and we are still waiting for that first drop of rain this month. However, we're in good shape, at least through the year here. Plenty of extra rain from May will tide us over here if we don't get widespread rain this week. I think everybody will get at least a little rain before the week is through. 88 to 90 for the high tomorrow, and as I mentioned, all this active weather will kind of weaken a bit and become a little more diffuse, but it will work in here toward the end of the week. We also had the smoke problem from those Canadian wildfires. That plume of smoke coming down or being drawn in, but as our winds shift to the south, we get a little bit of that Sahara Desert dust. This shows smoke and dust, by the way, this graphic. And so quite a bit going on in the sky other than just regular old clouds and rain. In looking just ahead here to Tuesday, Wednesday, you can see where the cold front is developing here to our west. And that'll be the focus for some of those showers and storms, which will then move along the boundary on Wednesday night, but more likely materialize there on Thursday and maybe Friday as well. Our temperatures will stay pretty much within the normal range through the week. Now, we are well above normal, or will be tomorrow. 82 is the normal high, so 8 above normal, but then toward the weekend we kind of glide back down to that normal range, and normal rainfall as well. On the GFS model, you see the unsettledness there in the green. So we have showers and storms Wednesday night, Thursday, and maybe Friday as well before things start to dry out over the weekend. And to compare with the European model, about the same idea, although the European holds off on the rain until early Thursday, and then more widespread or scattered showers Thursday, Friday, and maybe a few early Saturday before we dry out a bit on Sunday. 65 degrees for the low temperature tonight, and the high tomorrow should get up to about 90. We will have a light westerly wind, 5 to 10. Tomorrow should be the warmest day of the week with additional cloud cover and some showers and thunderstorms rolling in. Our temperatures are going to pull back a little bit there as we go through the end of the work week. And temperatures then returning to normal there for that first full week up to June the 12th, and rainfall slightly above normal for the same time. And our pet pick tonight, this is Grayson from the home of Yolanda Powell. You'll remember we had the other dog, Pickles, last week. So this is Grayson, not a brother or not a sibling, but a what do you call that? When you have pets that are, they're two pets. One of the dogs, one of the gangs. All right, let's have a look here and see if we have any questions. And I'm looking at the 14 News Facebook page like I always do. Nancy Perry's on, Paula Schaefer, good evening. Lenny Howard's on there too, glad to have you aboard. I think Lenny's in Knoxville, aren't you, in Kentucky? Is that right? Davis County. Jeanette Rice is in there. Chris actually got some sunburn. I know, it doesn't take much, and it's deceiving when we have that smoke in the atmosphere. The sun looks a little goldish brown, you don't think it, but the UV rays still can get through. So Jeff Miller doesn't need any 90s, getting too old for that kind of heat. Well, I doubt that you're too old for a good old 90-degree day. Just take your nap during. Don't you take a nap every day? I take a nap every day. I'm going to admit it here. I turned a significant age over the weekend, so I've been doing that, a 20-minute nap right before I come into work, and put you right up. On days I can, some days I can't. All right, let's see here. William Raleigh, GFS showing a hurricane coming up in the Gulf of Mexico around the 13th. Yeah, the GFS. And then today that wasn't showing up at all, at least not in the stuff that I looked at this morning. And part of that may be an issue with, because of the cuts to NOAA and the National Weather Service, fewer weather balloons, fewer federal scientists that maintain and adjust the model, it may become a little less predictable or useful, I guess I should say, here this year for the hurricane season. We don't like to see that, but that is possibly a direct result of the cuts that were made to the National Weather Service. So this is a fear that everybody has had. Now I saw today, I think we had a thing on the news, they were lifting the hiring freeze, and we're going to add 100 meteorologists or something, or scientists to the National Weather Service. But a lot more than that left or retired, and a lot of those folks had 30 years of experience. They really knew their stuff. Not that the incoming scientists won't, it's just you can't really replace that, what we would call institutional knowledge. So yeah, I mean, we're all kind of a laboratory study here in, if you remove some of the inputs from the GFS model, what kind of impact is that going to have? And by extension, all the models, they all rely on a certain number of, I'm looking at the GFS right now, which is why I'm filibustering here a little bit. I wanted to see if the evening GFS had changed at all from what we were showing this morning. But yeah, so the issue comes in the longer ranges on these models here, with them being a little flaky, so to speak. And yeah, so we're still showing that possibly, that this was from the afternoon run. Okay, so it's back in there. I looked at one of them earlier and it was like there and it wasn't, and it was there and it wasn't. So something we will have to watch, but we will watch it guardedly because we don't know how much we can trust the GFS out a few days. All right, let's see who else has questions here. Will the Tri-State be able to see the northern lights tonight? I don't think so. It's a little smoky, foggy out there. And the, I think the, let me look at spaceweather.com here. I don't think the numbers were favorable for us. They were really good last night, but yeah, the numbers here, not so great. So we need like a, 7, I will say, and we had like a 4 or something. So no, I don't think we're going to see northern lights tonight. Those are the flakiest things. You can have everything just right. You can have all the numbers and everything, and they still don't show up, and we've had some surprise appearances of them too. All right, Adam Luigs. Towards the weekend, it's going to be worth going to the racetrack in Hobstadt to camp. Well, of course. Why would it not be worth it? So what's a little mud up there at Hobstadt? Right now, let's see, what is today? Today is Monday, and if you're going to the race either Saturday, I think Sunday, right? Yeah, we might get a little rain, at least on Saturday. How much rain we talking? That I can't tell you at this stage. We're kind of thinking scattered thunderstorms. So you know how that works. We could get the one in Hobstadt and you get an inch of rain there. Or, it could happen in Fort Branch and you wouldn't get a drop. It's going to be that kind of situation going into the weekend. So check back in with me, Adam, and we'll see if we can't work something a little more usable here toward the end of the month, end of the week. Okay. I think I got everybody's questions answered. Oh, Lenny's in Whitesville. Why did I think you were in Knottsville? I don't know. I had that on the brain for some reason. You know my brain. Let's see. We got a little sidebar going here, a little family reunion. I like seeing that. In the comments, somebody will see somebody and say, oh, do you know so-and-so? Anyway, I have a short thing for you here tonight. Actually, this Science Corner we've talked about a couple times, but I did want to touch on it again. This dust coming from the Sahara Desert, lots of it. The big dust storm season is in full swing there in northern Africa. And these plumes of dust then come across the Atlantic Ocean and then turn and go up. They basically follow, the prevailing wind flow there, jet stream and such. And you can actually see this making a turn. Now, this is a forecast model. That was the actual satellite loop with the dust detection or channel in there. And you see it then moving across the Gulf and up into the weather pattern here over the United States. So we may still see some of that Saharan dust by the middle of this week. And again, as far as hurricane potential goes in the Gulf, right now the National Hurricane Center is not calling for any action in there for the next 72 hours. They go out 3 days. But it is something everybody is watching because this will kind of be the first test to see if the GFS is picking up stuff that far out, since the GFS is somewhat diminished from lack of weather balloon soundings and inputs and things like that. Okay, so we will keep an eye on that. We got all kinds of stuff to keep us busy here. Mary Young says her raised bed garden is growing great. Rain and sun are making it really grow. Yeah, we seem to have had the right mix of the two. All right. And thanks for the birthday wishes. Yeah, it was yesterday. 61. How about that? All right. Well, I think that's all I have for you on 14 News at 10. Hopefully we'll get the full run of the model here and have a little better idea on rain later in the week. In the meantime, I appreciate you watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you on 14 News at 10 o'clock tonight.